What's up, party people? It's your boy Raheem coming at you live from the 905 and the 416. Here with your boy Amir, and we got a good one for you, man. This is episode 10. We finally reached the benchmark, the milestone, 10 episode. As a matter of fact, all the other episodes in the past, we've had multiple parts too. So, in fact, we've really done more than 10, but this is episode number 10. So thank you again for tuning in, for all our loyal subscribers and all the viewers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you like and subscribe and share the channel. Make sure you help us grow, and we'll keep it going. So we got a good episode for you today. We got some good topics to talk about. Amir has some insight he wants to share about what's happening in Calgary. I mean, damn, if I was living in Calgary, man, and if things were as bad as they are, I don't even know what I'd do. I can't go.
Man.
Hey, listen, I cannot go without a shower a day at the very least, right? And for these people to not have any water and have this shortage going on about a month,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, there is light at the end of the tunnel because they're saying that they were able to source the pipes and they're able to fast track the work because
Oh,
before
nice.
they had some issues about how they don't have the right equipment or the right material to get the job finished. But
Yeah.
then they're able to get the material or get the parts from US, and they're saying that they're expecting everything to be completed by maybe end of first week of July or something.
Oh, that's good.
So that's really good news, man. But if you look at it, the existing pipe that ruptured, according to what I found, was the last time the time when this pipe was put in place in the infrastructure was in 1970s. So
Damn.
the pipe is about 40, 50 years old, older than most of us over here,
Yeah.
right? So it was time. It was going to happen sooner or later. But yeah, it's really sad to see all the people that are suffering with all that stuff, and they're not able to take a shower, they're not able to do so many various different activities because water is essential, man. Like today, you need water every few hours of the day. You need water for some use:
Yeah.
washing dishes, washing your hands, taking a shower, drinking, whatever the case might be. You
Yeah.
need water. Yeah, and even equipment in your home needs water at times, like your humidifier, dehumidifier, all that other stuff. It's an essential part of life. And it feels like, and I have somebody that was in Calgary, and he was going through all this
Yeah.
when or even right now he's going through all this, and he's saying, like, with the kids and stuff, it's so difficult to manage. Like, you have to literally think about how much water you're going to use,
Oh,
whether you're
wow.
going to have water tomorrow or not, whether you have to run down to the river and fill up a bucket and bring it home, just like the
Damn.
good old days, right?
Damn,
So
man, that is difficult. But
yeah,
isn't that indicative of a much bigger problem, and a problem that is essentially nationwide? I
yeah,
mean, we hear about and we see that the Gardner Expressway is falling apart, and we
yep,
keep hearing about how they're going to be fixing that bridge. It's going to take years upon years. The 401 is a disaster at any given moment. There's
yep,
always some sort of construction, and that never seems to be enough. There's still massive potholes on the 401. It's just like everything seems to be falling apart.
yep,
The immigration that is coming in is at an all-time high. We
yep.
don't have the infrastructure, and we don't have the right government and the right guidance in order to help us succeed into the right direction, right? And unfortunately, with the amount of people that we have coming in, and with our schooling systems being overburdened, our hospitals being overburdened, our housing market being overburdened, which is why the prices have gone through the roof, I just see no end to this unless or until there is a major overhaul of the entire system. And that starts with Justin Trudeau, unfortunately. Like, this man has literally driven Canada into the ground. There are massive protests against him. There is, his favorability, likability is at an all-time low. And now I just recently came to find out that there is a new movement that is starting, and I believe that their first protest is July 1st. It's
Oh
called
yeah,
Take Back Canada.
Take back
Um,
Canada. Yes.
yeah, so I don't know too much about it. I don't know if the person that sent it to me, my question to them was, is this a nationalist movement or is this a white nationalist movement? And unfortunately, they didn't have the answer, but I would be curious to know who started this movement and what their actual agenda is. If it is, you know, basically limiting immigration to the right immigration, which we've spoken about in the past, that, you know, immigration isn't bad. It's just, unfortunately, if you keep getting the wrong type of immigration, you're getting people that are not skilled in their trades. You're not getting professionals. You're not actually helping your country, then it kind of becomes a burden on the country. And that's what we're seeing in Canada. So I would be curious to see what they have planned, what their ultimate agenda, what their sort of, you know, manuscript reads, and I'm definitely going to look into it further. I don't have as many details as you know, I'd like to have up until this point. But if you are the organizer of this movement, comment below, man. I'd love to talk to you and see where you're at, and maybe have you on the podcast, and, you know what I'm saying, spread what you guys are trying to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe you can put the link as well for Take Back Canada, for
Yeah.
all our other viewers as well to view. But what I see and what I understand from what I've read online and what I see on the website
Hmm.
is basically, I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to limit the immigration to the right immigrants. They're trying to do is essentially stop people that are coming in on maybe say false basis or false expertise or false technicalities that they're showing that they're capable of doing, while in reality the story is something else.
Yeah.
And regardless from wherever you are that you're coming into Canada, Canada is a welcoming country. We're a multicultural country and everybody's always welcome. And the whole thing is this, you just have to get the right people, because we're peace loving, we're simple peace loving people over here. We want people who ever come to Canada to be like that. We don't want people coming into Canada who are destructive in nature, I guess I should say,
Yeah.
or someone who wants to not help the country, but just use and abuse the country and its resources. And you were mentioning earlier, how Trudeau isn't doing a good job. I don't know if Trudeau is the right person to say to to be held accountable. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I'm just talking from my perspective.
Hmm.
But what I think is we need people who are experts in the field, who are out there, who are making these decisions, whether it's infrastructure on the 401 or the Gardner, or whether it's infrastructure for our medical services, hospitals and stuff, schooling services. We need people who are able to, see that inside of 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, of what it's going to look like if the immigration flow continues at the rate that it's continuing over here, and make decisions based on that. I don't
Well,
know, and I don't.
we we all know how much of a staunch supporter you are of Trudeau, and I applaud you for sticking with him.
No, no, I'm not taking anybody's side over here. Okay, I'm just saying that we just need the people who are making those decisions. I'm sure if there's a construction on 401, if there's a pothole on 401, that paper doesn't go to Trudeau. Can you sign this and get it approved so we can get started? I'm sure there are other people that are managing that, right?
You okay? So here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
The issue is everybody in government, they are basically working for their next term. So
Yeah.
whenever they come in, they are looking at what we can do or what we can spread as far as, you know, news is concerned, in order to win votes for the next election term, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, Trudeau has, and this is why I blame Trudeau. A lot of people have other reasons. Maybe this is why you support Trudeau. I don't know. I like, you
I'm
know,
not supporting him, but I'm not against him as well. That's
so there
that's
you
all I'm
have it,
saying.
sir.
Yeah,
There you
I'm
have it.
I'm in the middle over here.
So this is the reason why I don't agree with his policies. He has tried to basically keep the borders as wide open as possible, try to get as many of the wrong type of immigrants, the ones that aren't professionals, the ones that aren't going to help the country, the ones unfortunately that are going to be on the social assistance system and be on the government teat, because those people will always vote liberal. Why? Because the government is helping them. And those people become a burden on society because they're not the ones that are paying taxes. They're not the ones that are actually helping build the city or, make the city better or the country, or rather, I should say. But unfortunately, these are people that will take and take and take from the government, and guess who ends up footing that bill? People like you and I, people that are paying taxes and killing ourselves by paying these taxes. I mean, look at how much we're paying in taxes, right? CRA has, first of all, CRA, the most crooked organization that could ever exist. You have your own people, your own workers that got caught, defrauding the government by, signing up for SIBA loans and the, what was the monthly
Sure.
SERP? Yes, the
Sure.
SERP payments, right? And they basically fired a bunch of their employees. Now I'm hearing from a bunch of different sources. CRA is literally coming down on people as if you owe money to a mob, right? What do I mean by this? They are contacting people, giving them a deadline that, hey, this is how much you owe in taxes. If you do not pay by this date, we will freeze your bank accounts. Just think about that for a
I
second.
know about that. I know
Yeah.
about that.
So we will freeze your bank accounts. Now, how will we unfreeze those bank accounts? You have to go to two or three different financial institutions, apply for two or three different types of loans. So, credit card, line of credit, a loan, and then give us the rejection letters saying that these financial institutions will not afford me a loan or a line of credit before we decide to unfreeze one of your accounts. How does that make any sense? If you are a working individual and you are trying to pay off CRA for any, you know, one of God knows how many reasons, you need a bank account to receive your money from whatever job you may be doing, your business, whatever the case is. If they have all your accounts frozen, how are you supposed to survive? How are you supposed to pay the bills? How are you supposed to pay the rent? How are you supposed to pay anything, and in fact pay CRA back, right?
Right.
This is what CRA is doing. On top
Okay.
of that, then you add on the left leaning liberal agenda of the landlord and tenant board, right? If these are the people that you're basically freezing bank accounts for, now these people can't pay rent. Now the landlord that has nothing to do with this is unfortunately going to take the hit, right? Because the tenants aren't paying them, and the landlord can't do anything about it either, because the tenants are like, well, I mean, I don't have the money, I can't pay. Okay, take me to the landlord and tenant board. Sure, that's about a 6 to 8 month wait. You know what I mean? Just to get in front of the tribunal. Then it takes a couple of months to have the tenant evicted. Then at that point, if the tenant says, hey, look, I'm going to make the payments. I just don't, I'm trying to come up with a payment plan, this, that, and the other. Okay, you get an extension, right? It's just such a broken system, and it's designed to, not let people be successful, not, let people be the best versions of themselves. And unfortunately, it's rewarding bad behavior. It's rewarding people that aren't pushing themselves to be better, to create jobs, to create more money, to basically put more money in the economy. It's the people that are draining the economy. That's just my stance.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And again, I'm not taking anybody's side over here. No political sides on my from my end. But if we look at it, when COVID happened, when they were giving out all these loans, SIBA, SERB, everything,
Yeah.
people like me and you, we did not know much about what COVID is all about. We did not know what the aftermath is going to look like.
Yeah.
We did not know, as a matter of fact, what tomorrow would look like.
Hmm.
So everybody was in a panic. Everybody was in that state. Hey, I'm going to get whatever I can today and hold on to it for tomorrow because we don't know what tomorrow holds for us.
Yeah.
And that's what most of the people did. I know many people that didn't take any kind of loans whatsoever. Fine, amazing. They did their part to help the government, to help the country. That's amazing on their part. But those people who did take it, they were all in that situation who were either new to Canada or just did not have enough financial strength in their accounts to withstand if a disaster happens on top of COVID, if something happens. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I know we had all these different regulations. You don't have to pay a mortgage for a few months, you don't have to pay rent for a few months. We had all these reliefs happening and stuff. But I think everybody was in a panic and everybody wanted to just hold on to as much cash as possible. Now, okay, fine. It makes sense on that stage of the picture. But then when things started to stabilize, when things started to get better, people at that point, I think, got greedy. They were like, hey, I already have the money. I don't want to pay it back now. Like, why should I pay it back? I want to use it for whatever I want to use it for. And it's a part of human nature, I mean, if I give you $100,000 today and say, okay, pay me back when things are better for you, even when things are better for you and you look at your bank account and you're like, oh, I have 300 grand right now. If I pay him 100 grand, I'll be 100 grand cheaper. I'll be less in my account. And it kind of emotionally kind of hits you. So I think maybe it has something to do with part of how humans are.
But that's not
That's not.
that's not exactly the situation that transpired, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
You're talking about when things got better, right? Did things
Yeah.
get better? Things didn't
Things
get
didn't get
better.
better.
Things got
Things.
worse. Look at inflation. Look at the cost of
Yes.
gas. Look at the cost of
Yes.
groceries, right?
Yes.
People are struggling. Look at the cost of
Right.
mortgages. Banks
Yes.
at that moment, in that, during that COVID period, because the government forced them to, and they put pressure on the banks to provide some sort of relief. They didn't say that, you know what, we're not going to charge you interest for this time. They said we're going to defer the payments. What does that mean?
Yes.
That means that,
Yes.
okay, instead of you paying today, you're going to owe the same amount of money just like two
Yes.
or 3 months down the road. What ended up
Yes.
happening is, let's just say that your mortgage payment is $3,000, just as an
Yep.
example, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, instead of 3,000, you owe 6,000 or 9,000 3 months down the road, right? That is still a large lump sum, right?
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
people, what ended up happening, inclusive of myself, is we got letters from the banks saying that your mortgage loan has been over amortized. It's the people, especially that were on variable payments, right? Because
Yes.
the interest rates have gone through the roof. So
Yes.
your payments have been over amortized, and in order to bring everything back to where we need it to be, you got to make a lump sum payment of $17,000, $30,000, $40,000, right?
Yeah.
Where are people going to come up with this? How many
Yeah.
businesses shut down through COVID? How many
Yeah.
businesses got affected, right? I mean, you look at restaurants, like especially the smaller restaurant industry, got destroyed, diminished,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You look at the smaller mom pop stores. I mean, we were I don't think people fully remember. Like, do you remember what happened when COVID was around? When COVID
Oh,
first hit?
I
Like,
remember very well, man. But I know, yeah, things are hazy in some people's mind because they're just so overwhelmed with what today has for them
yeah.
and what they're going through on a daily basis. So I understand. But
There
yeah, I
there was
remember,
there were
man.
you remember, like, empty streets, empty
Empty
highways.
streets.
There was not a
Yes.
single car. Like, it literally looked like a ghost town. It looked like
Yes.
something out of a horror movie where everyone was eradicated. You know what I mean? You'd go to a grocery store, you would think 500 times before going to a grocery store, because you'd be like, damn, man, if I catch this, that's it. It's over for me. And not only is
Yeah.
it over for me, it's over for my family, right? And
Yep.
then for
Yep.
some odd reason, people thought that their saving grace was going to be toilet paper. Uh, Like the most essential thing was toilet paper. I don't understand what the philosophy behind that was. I would love for somebody to explain to me why toilet paper was such an essential life-saving situation for during COVID, right? Put it in the comments, man. Let me know how much
No,
toilet
no,
paper you
I
guys
want to
got
know
stocked,
that.
right? So,
Yeah,
so people were afraid, and then when you would go to a grocery store, you'd be wearing masks. There's like so many screens. I mean, we still have the plastic screens at some of the places, right? Some of the
we
grocery
do,
stores,
man.
some of the
Yeah,
like banks still have those. Some restaurants and stuff, they still have those. And then if you heard somebody sneeze,
sneeze,
God
cough,
forbid,
anything. Oh
like,
man,
yeah, oh, buddy, that entire area would clear out. Like it was a parting
evacuated.
of the seas. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we went through those times, right?
yep,
We
yep.
we we went through those and we came out on the other side. And now we are hearing that all these vaccines that we were forced to take
Yes,
weren't actually properly tested. The
of
companies
course.
didn't provide the right information. And it comes as no surprise, by the way, that, we are noticing all of these side effects and, alternate effects of these drugs because they weren't tested properly, because there wasn't enough time given for the testing. And the reality of the situation is everybody that was on the sidelines that got made felt, that was made to feel guilty and was made to feel as if they were criminals that remained pure blood and remained, vaccine free. Those are actually the people that are on the sidelines laughing now, right? Because they're
Yes,
like,
yes.
shit, we told you that
Exactly,
this is
exactly.
the situation, right? And
Yeah,
these are the people that Trudeau, your best buddy, froze their bank accounts, the trucker convoys and stuff, right?
yeah,
He
yeah.
basically like treated them like criminals, right? It's unbelievable. And this is what sort of leads me into the next story, which kind of brings me a little, or gives me a little solace about the situation that we're facing.